Hey, welcome to Man Kitchen Recipes. I am Kevin, and tonight I made some Puntas Quemadas con chile Colorado, also known as red chili beef burnt ends. Now, I know everybody thinks that backyard barbecue's got to be barbecue sauce and ribs and brisket and just everything on a grill. I love to mix it up. And if you've made burnt ends in 4 or 5 different ways or never made them at all and like a little spice to it, a little red chili sauce, make some Puntas Quemadas. I don't know if it's coming through on the camera or not, but the color on these are fantastic. Let me show you how I got these all together. We'll come back out and I'll do a taste test. All right, for this Puntas Quemadas, the first thing we got to do is get our chuck roast ready. And I've got a couple of chuck roast. This one's 2.1 pounds, 2.5 pounds. And of course, so to season these, I'm going to use some world famous spicy SPG. This is, I love using this. And since we're making Punta Quemadas, we're going to spice it up a little bit right now. Oh, yeah. This would be like a Chile Colorado Burnt Ends. So a different take on burnt ends. Puntas Quemadas is burnt ends in Spanish. I already mentioned it. Sorry about that. So yeah, I'm leaving all the fat on there. A lot of it will render down. So I'm going to let this spicy SPG sit here for a minute while the pellet grill heats up to 250 degrees. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to measure or keep track of the temperature on these. Okay, so I have two chuck roasts there, and just to keep an eye on the internal temp, well, you may or may not know, several years ago I started using the MeatSticks and became an ambassador for MeatStick. And I want to introduce you to their new product, and here's my unboxing. The box is the size of this. This is called the MeatStick Duo. Okay, so the Duo, what it is you get 2 MeatStick 5s. And I got to tell you, the MeatStick 5 to date, to me, is their best MeatStick yet. It's the most accurate. It seems to run flawlessly. If you haven't seen my review on the MeatStick 5, I'll leave a video card at the end of this video. So click on that and you can see my review on that. And yes, they did send this to me. Some people apparently have a problem with products being sent to us. They did send this to me, and you take the meat stick out of the back. You have a black one. I'm going to take these labels off and wash them first, and a gray one to tell the difference of which is which. And when you remove those, it automatically comes on, and it gives 73 and 74, so that must be the temperature inside my house. It does come with a little it doesn't even come with an instruction booklet. You get one of these, you scan the QR code, and you can learn everything you need to know about using a meat stick. Now, the MeatStick Duo, obviously, 2 sticks, and it'll keep both temperatures, and it has a little foot on the back, so you can stand it up and it'll lean on that. It doesn't look real super sturdy, but be careful with it because it is an electronic product. You don't want to be dropping it all over the place. Now, what's fantastic about this Duo and the MeatStick 5 base is their Wi-Fi. They're Wi-Fi compatible, which means hey, you got to run to the store, you got to run wherever. You're going to be gone for an hour, and you got a 4-hour cook. Take off. You can check your phone and make sure everything's still good at home. You just want to make sure your temperatures are running right. And like I said, both of them right now are running 73 degrees, and that must be inside the house. If I put them on my hand, they'll warm up. Just like that, they start raising. So I'm going to use these in the chuck roast. Now this you leave out near your grill. So if you're on your pellet grill or a smoker or whatever you're using, you just set it next to it. You can walk outside without opening the lid and sticking a probe in, and you can see what the temperatures are. And just remember your gray and your black. Or if you're away from your pellet grill, you can see it all on your phone if you download the app. It doesn't have to be connected to Wi-Fi. It can be connected to Bluetooth. So a 900-foot range on the Bluetooth, 1200 degree temperature on these tips. They didn't used to they didn't used to be able to take that kind of temperature. Anytime you were searing something, you needed to make sure you didn't get these in directly in the flame. But you can leave these in when you're searing. You can put these in the dishwasher. You can put these in a deep fryer. You can put them in sous vide. Use them in your oven. So anyway, I'm using these, the MeatStick Duo. I'll leave a link below for you to check it out. You'll see me using this more and more cooks. So this isn't really a specific MeatStick Duo video. I just wanted to introduce you to this if you haven't seen it. And that's what I'm using today to measure the temps on my chuck roast while it's in there. And I can just walk out there and go, oh, we're at 85 degrees right now, or oh, we're at 130. I'm gonna bring these up between 155 and 165, and then we'll do the next step. The first thing we gotta do is get these in the meat and on the pellet grill. Okay, so here's my little MeatStick Duo. Get the little foot out there so you can see. Yeah, the foot is a little bit flimsy. Okay, so I'm going to, yeah, that doesn't click open. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to put the gray one in this one here, which is the 2.10 pounds. And this one over here is 2.5 pounds. And we'll put the black one in this one. Okay. So the gray one measured first at 52 degrees. And the black one is the one on the left. Okay, I'm gonna get these out on the pellet grill and get this cook going. All right, we haven't broke out the Lexington 500 in a while, so we got the Pit Boss Lexington 500 today. I'm gonna have my just over 2 pounder there, 2.5 pounder over here. We're just gonna let those roll 250 degrees, and we're gonna just keep an eye on that. This one's at 49, that one's at 50 and 41. All right, I didn't mention that that is magnetic too. I don't know if you can see it. It is magnetic, so you can stick that somewhere. You don't want to put it outside of your barrel, obviously, but you can stick it on the lid of your pellets and it'll be fine. All right, so my MeatStick Duo is telling me that this one here is at 160 and ready to come off. This one's about 10 degrees off, so we're going to take this one off and let it rest while that one's finishing. Okay, so that one there has got to go a little longer. This one here is already off and resting. Okay, for my red chili sauce, I'm going to take some of these red chilies that I grew last year, and I'm going to add these to my chili sauce. All right, so these are the red chilies that I picked, and I am going to oh, that's got some nice seeds. I think I'll plant those. Just dump out some of the seeds. And then we're going to put them in some boiling water and rehydrate. Now, I know, a lot of people say, oh, leave the seeds. Well, I don't mind the seeds bringing a little extra heat. What I mind is I don't like when you get a seed and the texture is just way off. There's a lot of seeds in these. Okay, so now we're going to put these in some water, and we're going to let them reconstitute, and then we're going to blend them up and add them to our regular our jarred red chili, because I don't mind using it in a jar. I'm here in New Mexico. We have some fantastic jarred red chili, and I'm going to be using, I think, Weck's, which is a restaurant here in town. Okay, I'm going to put these in some water and let them soften up. Alright, so I've got some Weck's red chili sauce. I'm just going to heat it up so that I don't put it in cold with my beef. And then I blended up those red chilies. Just give it a little more texture in there. Right, we're going to just heat that up a little bit, let it simmer a minute, and then the other chuck is just about ready. All right, so my MeatStick Duo, the next one's at 160. Get that one off. That one's a little fatter, so it took a little longer, a little thicker. Okay, there they both are. I'll let that hot one rest a minute and we'll get on with the next part of this. And I am going to clean this off so when I put my pan in here, it doesn't get too nasty on the bottom for when I bring it in again. And I'm going to turn the Pit Boss Lexington 500 up to 275, I think, for the next part. Alright, the next step in these Puntas Quemadas burnt ends. Normally with burnt ends right now, you would cut up your chuck or brisket, really. And, you know, these are not poor man's burnt ends. I mean, chuck costs more per pound than brisket. So anyway, so I'm going to chunk these up, and we're not going to do the regular butter, brown sugar, barbecue sauce, honey, and all of that. We're going to use red chili sauce and make these kind of like a Carne Adovada Burnt Ends, Puntas Quemadas. Why don't I just call them burnt ends? Well, because they got a Mexican flair to them. And keeping it kind of New Mexican, a little bit of a smoke ring with the red chili sauce. Okay, that's what they look like before they're going to get in this pan. And I'm going to try to keep them up just as they are, like this, to keep the bark at the top. Now you may be wondering about the fat. I didn't cut the fat off because I actually want that fat to render down in this step and be in my sauce. Because if you want to see how we're going to eat these, we'll do a taste test, but if you want to see how we're really going to eat these, you'll have to come over to Tortilla Takeover. We'll be making something over there with it. Now, over on my Tortilla Takeover channel, actually on our, what we thought, I grew some bulb onions, and this is I used some of it the other day, and this is what was left of it. Now, the stalk was about, you know, 1.5 inches round, and so I kept a big chunk of it. So I'm using that also in here. And this is just for flavor. Gotta have onion, right? This is Mexican style. We're not going for the sweet, the meat candy. We're going for the savory Carne Adovada. And I thought, unfortunately, I thought that I had some garlic, but I don't, so I have to use some garlic. And I think I got just enough in this one jar just to kind of sprinkle some around. If you have garlic, just use garlic. Okay, and then, you know, I did the red chili pods from my ristra that I made from the green chilies that I cooked. From the I'll get it right. From the green chilies that I grew, that I let grow and stay on the vine until they turned red. And I blended those up just to add this, make this sauce a little bit more hearty, I guess you could say, a little thicker. So I really just want to get this in the pan. I don't want to cover the meat. I just want it about halfway up, which this should. One jar, 16 ounce, probably 14 ounces. Should be a 16 ounce jar. Okay, get that down in there. Oh man, that looks good just like it is. All right, I'm going to cover this up with foil. Get it back out on that Lexington 500, the Pit Boss. We're going to let it go for an hour at 275. Get this back in there, 275 for an hour. Luckily, you don't have to stick around for an hour. It'll only be a second. Right, I came out here after an hour and they looked really good. They weren't quite tender enough, so yeah, that's hot. Let me give them a quick temp check. Oh yeah, that goes in a lot easier. 193. Yeah, they were only like 165, 170. All right, let me take this off of here. Next step coming up. All right, get my wire rack in here. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer the meat. I think it'll all fit onto here. And then we're going to let it smoke up some more on the rack. Alright, we're about 15 minutes in. And actually want to put some more red chili sauce on here. Alright, I'm going to probably do this a couple more times before I take them off. Alright, look at that. I came out 2 more times, sauced them up. This is why you put the feet up, so you can move your rack around. I'll put this on a pan to carry them out of here. All right. Look at that. Puntas Quemadas con chile colorado. Okay, so what do you think about that? Puntas Quemadas con chile colorado, you know, burnt ends, chili Colorado beef burnt ends with chuck, not brisket. Anyway, I brought a couple of pieces out. I gotta tell you, I don't know, it's hard to tell in this light, but the color is fantastic. All right, so I can't wait anymore. I gotta take a bite. Here we go. Super tender. Full of flavor. Wow. Come over to Tortilla Takeover, and you're going to see how I'm really going to serve up the leftovers of these, because a lot of times I cook out here so I can make meals over on the other channel as well. So anyway, if you get a chance, if you like red chili, a little bit of spice, it's not hot. You want something different besides regular sweet meat, burnt ends, get some nice savory. Gosh, I am facing the wrong way. There we go. That color is just fantastic. That's my Puntas Quemadas con chile colorado. Thanks for checking this out. I hope you give it a try, and I hope you have a great day.